Battlefront is finally here, and I've had a chance to play it for a good amount of time on multiple platforms. And I wanted to share with you my top 10 changes and improvements I would make to the game. Some of this stuff is personal preference, but I'm very interested to see if you guys agree with me or not. Let's start with grenades and explosive spam at number 10. Now this is something a lot of people starting to play the game may notice. Players carrying around 2 grenades. How is this possible? Well, you have 3 star card slots. In the left and right slots you can pick various cards from rifles to jump packs and of course grenades. You're able to unlock and equip the thermal detonator grenade at rank 2 and then the impact grenade at rank 6. This means that you've got 2 powerful grenades at your disposal on a pretty short cooldown that you can equip at the same time. If you then run over a thermal imploder pickup, then GG, you're grenade guy and you've won the internet. And don't forget about the barrage star card, which fires out 3 grenades, or even the Wookiee bowcaster, which is explosive projectiles. What this means is that there is a crazy amount of explosive spam on a lot of the maps, especially the smaller ones in these smaller game modes, and over time the problem is just going to get worse. I think the smart thing to do here, and for the benefit of the game, is to limit your star cards to only 1 grenade card, forcing you to either choose a thermal detonator, barrage or impact grenade, and not allowing you to have both or multiple at the same time. And I think this is a really important issue, because to me the gunplay in this game, the general infantry play, is incredibly satisfying and fun. Like, I think it's a great arcade shooter, but at times it's ruined by all this explosive spam, and that is a big shame. Number 2 is a problem with the partner system. I've been through entire games with no partner because mine has left at the start of the round. Now maybe I'm just unlucky and there was an odd amount of players, so just not enough partners to go around, or for some reason it wasn't assigning people partners during the round. So why not have an option in the menu to see players and their partners, so you can pick and choose a partner on the fly, not just pick from people that are in a party with you. This means you can partner up when in a game if a friend joins you, and lets you partner with people you want to when you're already in a game. As well as the problem I've just mentioned, if you're in a party with friends and don't pick one as your partner in the game, I've had it sometimes where the game will just give me a random partner rather than making sure that you get partnered with a friend in your party who you've just joined the game with. I think it really needs to prioritize your party friends before partnering you with another random player. Number 3, HUD scalability. Whilst we're on the subject of star cards, I'd like to see an option to be able to scale down the HUD so you can customize how big each item is, such as the star cards, radar and health indicators. It's a small thing, but it can really make a big difference, especially to PC players. Also, the kill feed in the middle right of the screen still kind of bothers me. I know it shouldn't, but I'd like to see the kill feed move to the top right by default of the screen and the chat move to the top left instead. Also, as far as I can tell, there's no way to hide the chat on the PC version of the game, and that's a big issue for a lot of people. Number 4, air combat. There's a big difference in feel when flying between the PC version and the console version of the game. When you're flying on PC, it just seems as though the game is fighting you all the time when you try and fly and aim. I just can't seem to get used to it, and that's the best way that I can describe it. It's actually quite hard to aim accurately and keep your aim on target on PC. On console though, it's a different story. Like, using a controller for flying is a lot more natural and feels better. It's no surprise really. It stands to reason that flying was designed with a controller in mind, and I've got no massive problem with that, but I'd like to see a more refined version for PC, because I'm either going to plug in a controller or avoid flying altogether unless I'm playing on the console version. Number 5, spawns. These are still a problem, and we know that when we played the alpha and beta versions, Walker Assault on Hoth had some real spawn issues, and thankfully that's been massively improved on that map in the final version of the game, which is great. Unfortunately, Supremacy has the same spawn issues, and I think that this needs to have a big tweak and looking into. Spawning on top of enemies or behind people or being spawn trapped is common, and it's really not ideal for enjoyment. As well as that, why can't we have a left and right spawn system? Let's say for example you're playing on Hoth on Walker Assault. Sometimes you spawn on the left and sometimes you spawn on the right depending on where the game wants to put you. But there's some occasions where you want a specific side to defend or attack, but you end up on the wrong one, and you've got to cross the battlefield to get to that objective, and you just get dumped on by an ATST or a sniper or an AT-AT. This happens again and again, and it's just frustrating. It'd be cool if you could just have a simple choice of left or right hand side. I don't think it's going to break the balance of the maps, and I'm not talking about being able to pick a specific spawn point. I just think it could be something that would improve the spawning system as well by taking some stress off each spawn point. Number 6, content. Is it possible here that we simply don't have enough maps on the core game modes? I'm having a lot of fun with what we have at the moment, but I'm slightly concerned about people getting tired of the same levels on certain game modes. Walker Assault and Supremacy, for example, only have 4 maps, one on each planet, and whilst they all look and play great, you'd think that after a while, people are going to get slightly bored of playing the same levels again and again. Also, it stands to reason that Supremacy and Walker Assault are the best game modes in the game. They're where you have the most players, the biggest Star Wars experience. The rounds last longer and they're just generally more fun. Now, of course, this is countered by the fact that when you play on one of the various other modes, it's on a different level, and some of the other modes have more than 4 maps, so you do get a change of scenery when you play the other modes. But if you're a fan of Walker Assault and Supremacy, you're just going to have to get used to the same 4 maps again and again. Even when Jakku launches in December, we're still only looking at 5 maps for each mode, assuming of course that that only has 1 map. And when you consider that Jakku is fairly similar to Tatooine in the fact that it's a desert planet, you do have to wonder if there's enough there to keep people happy. I think what we do need is a few more variations of Walker Assault and Supremacy, but with each planet being very distinctive, how do you make a new map on, say, Endor for Walker Assault and not have it play almost exactly the same as the previous one? And that's a tough task for sure. Number 7, I think that the co-op and survival modes could be improved, maybe with more story added to them, a little more fleshed out, let's say. They just seem a bit shallow sometimes, as it's just waves of enemies that you're fighting against. Yes, on hard and master difficulty they are actually quite challenging, but it's still a bit too repetitive and unengaging for my liking. And why not allow us to have 4 players on the survival mode? Any 4-player co-op game is just better, right? Plus most people will have more than one friend that they want to play with. Number 8, the Ion Torpedo. I think this needs looking into. If you bought the deluxe version of the game, then you get the Torpedo unlocked straight away, and against things like ATSTs, it's extremely powerful. So powerful in fact that you can lock onto an enemy ATST from practically the other side of the map, and it means that if you've got a couple of players with them, you can destroy an ATST before it's even left its spawn and got into an attacking position. This of course is really bad for balance and annoying for the players. If you're searching for a pickup and you finally find that ATST you've been looking for, and then as soon as you spawn in you get instantly destroyed or hit down to a quarter of your health, you're not going to be happy. Simple solution though, just have a greater distance modifier to the lock, so you can't lock it on from massive distances away and you have to be within a certain range. Simple. Number 9, Hero Hunt, and this is the next thing on my list of improvements. Firstly, when you play this mode, it's 8 players with 7 people hunting down 1 player as a hero. If you kill the hero, you become the hero. The player with the most points at the end wins. Firstly, when you become the hero, you don't get to pick which one you choose. The round is either heroes or villains, and there's a set order. So for example, Luke, then Han, and then Leia. And this creates a small problem in my opinion. Firstly, it means players know what hero they're going to play next if they kill the current one. So maybe they might not try too hard because they don't want to play as Leia, for example. At the same time though, I think it would be unbalanced if you could pick the hero you wanted to play as, because everyone would always just pick Luke or Boba Fett. So that isn't the way forward, but I think just randomizing the hero you get is the best solution. There's definitely a set order to it at the moment. There's then the problem of a player getting the last blow, taking on the hero role. To start with, I've already seen bugs in Hero Hunt where I haven't killed the hero and I get to become the hero, and also occasions where I kill the hero and don't get to become them the next round. Even if you do all the damage to Luke and someone else comes in with one shot at the end and kills them, they get to become the next hero. In reality, that isn't particularly fair. It just means that players will sit back and wait until the last moment to try and get in that last shot. It can make for some less than Stellar games. You could have it so that the player who dealt the most damage to the hero takes on the role when they die. Now you might think that it would confuse people if they get the final blow and don't get to be a hero, but I think as long as it tells you at the end of a round just quickly who did the most damage and that that's what you need to achieve, I think that would be fine. In my opinion, that's a fairer way of doing things. Either way, I think it needs to be looked at, because currently there can be a really frustrated player who gets like tons of damage for the entire game on the heroes but never gets to play as them, and they're just likely to leave and never play that game mode again. Number 10, separate sensitivities. This was a problem during the beta and it was brought up several times, but it's still here. Right now you've got a soldier sensitivity and a vehicle sensitivity, and turrets are included too under vehicles. This means that turrets are immensely hard to aim properly, but if you turn down the vehicle sensitivity so the turrets are more controllable, it means that vehicles are then nigh on impossible to steer. It needs to be on a separate value, so you've got vehicles, turrets and infantry. Ideally, it'd be great to see land vehicles and air vehicles separated as well, but that's probably unlikely. So there we have it. Those are my top 10 improvements that I'd love to see made to the game. Let me know if I missed anything and also what your top changes would be down in the comments below. And if you've got any feedback on the stuff I've already said, let me know that too. As always, thanks for watching guys. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.